What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And the first thing that I want to say today is thank you to everybody who checked out yesterday's video about the craziest things that I saw in a prison kitchen, and also who smashed that like button letting me know exactly the kind of content you guys want to see. And because we definitely reached that goal of 4,000 likes yesterday, we are now beginning a 20-day marathon of prison stories. 20 days straight of prison stories. And with that, I figured there's no better way to start this off than with a bang. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you about the first ever prison fight that I actually won. In fact, throughout the entire course of all of the time that I've been locked up since the age of 18, I've probably gotten in something like 15 or 20 fights. And to be completely honest with you, I've probably only won about 3 of those fights. So it certainly looks like there'll be no UFC career for me. But you know what? They damn sure make for some good stories to tell. Now, before we get into this video, I do want to say 2 things real quick. First of all, After Prison Show is back on Snapchat. So come rock with After Prison Show on Snapchat, and who knows, maybe you could get personalized snaps from yours truly here. And the second thing I want to say is with this 20-day marathon of prison stories that we are doing, if you rock with and support After Prison Show, then please smash that like button, because keeping the likes high on these videos will show not only me that it's prison stories we should be doing pretty much all the damn time here, but it'll also show YouTube that people want these prison stories as well. With all of that being mentioned, what do you say we just go ahead and dive head first into this prison story video? You know, while serving any amount of time, there's a pretty good chance that you're gonna have to do some fighting. And in some cases, you may not even want to fight some of the people that you might have to fight. But like I've said before, believe me, even in those cases, it's better to go ahead and take that whooping than to not do anything at all. And depending on how you decide to spend any time that you might have to spend locked up, could also play heavily into just how much fighting you'll have to do. For example, in my case, I chose to tattoo. Now, you would think that tattooing would be a great way to try to avoid problems and conflict, because everybody in prison is gonna want to get some tattoo work done. But that's not necessarily the case, because anytime that you're dealing with anything dealing with money while locked up, whether it's gambling or running a store box, meaning you've got commissary items prisoners can borrow until they're able to get those commissary items to pay you back with a little interest on top, or whether it's selling things that you're really not supposed to have in prison, like drugs and also some good old porn pictures, or whether it's tattooing, anytime that you're dealing with anything dealing with money in prison, there's a pretty good likelihood that fighting's gonna come along with that at some point, because for some strange reason, money plus prison usually tend to equal problems. And this very first fight ever that I won while locked up dealt with exactly both of those. Money plus prison equaling a problem that I had to deal with. Now, where this fight actually took place at was at a level 1 facility. This was my first ever level 1 facility that I went to, and this was also during the first prison sentence that I ever served. Yes, old Joe did serve 2 different prison sentences. I know that makes me sound damn bad, but please let me explain. The first prison sentence was for a 1.5 years for a probation violation. The second prison sentence being the last one that I will ever serve, this 7-year prison sentence that I served from the end of 2008 till the end of 2015. And I can assure you I'm never going to prison again. At least I hope not. Now, this fight took place at a level 1 facility during that first 1.5 year prison sentence that I served, and I really just want to give you guys an idea of what a level 1 is. First of all, a level 1 in the state of Virginia, that's a minimum security facility. Now, you would think being at a level 1 that you're really not going to have that many problems there. Level 1 kind of sounds soft. It kind of sounds like it's not that bad for real. Guys there probably don't have a lot of time, probably don't have bad charges, but you would be surprised. There's guys who have been locked up for 10, 15 plus years who have just worked their level down because they haven't gotten any trouble. And they could have some pretty crazy charges, including certain types of murder charges. But there's something else to add to the atmosphere of a level 1 facility, and that is that in a lot of cases, the guys at these level 1 facilities try to go like extra hard. They try to portray this super macho, super thug life persona because of the fact that, I don't even really know. Maybe it's because of the fact they're at a level 1. Maybe they think they're not going to get in any trouble. Maybe they think nothing's going to pop off at a level 1. I mean, I don't understand the justification for why a lot of these prisoners at these facilities act the way that they do, but they do. And I have to throw this out there as well, and this is pretty damn embarrassing to admit, but there's a part of this story where Joe was just like that. Thinking that I was going extra hard, extra thug life, ready for anything to pop off. And even though I won the fight that this story is about, that victory, that glory, that macho man feeling that I had, thinking that I was just this extra tough prisoner, that was short-lived. So when I first got to this level 1 facility, it took me no time at all to just dive right into the tattooing scene. And the reason for that is because there was only one other guy who was tattooing there when I got there, and this guy was from the same set of cities that I was from. You got to imagine, like, when you're in a prison, guys are coming from all over the state. And the area of the state that I'm from is an area called Tidewater or Hampton Roads. And when you go to some of these prisons, you might only meet like a handful of people who are from the same area of the state that you're from. And that couldn't be any more true than at a prison like this level 1 that only housed 150 prisoners. So out of 150 prisoners, there was probably only like 5 of us who were there from Hampton Roads. And this guy who was already there tattooing, he was from this area as well. And when you get to a prison and you meet people from the same area that you're from of the state, you know, it's easier for you to become cool with those prisoners. Oh, you're from such and such. Well, shit, I live in the next city over. So because me and the tattoo guy who was already there, his name was Ben, because me and him got cool, it was nothing for me to get my foot in the door to start tattooing as well. And plus there were enough people at this small prison who wanted tattoo work that Ben didn't care that I just slid right in there and started doing work myself. Hell, he even gave me my first tattoo gun and ink, which I ended up paying him back for after I started doing work, but he gave me that so I could begin running work myself. And when I started doing work at this prison, I mean, I went non-stop. Anybody who wanted a tattoo, I didn't care how much money you had to spend. What, you want your whole back done? You only got $5? Shit, let's do it. Well, maybe not exactly an entire back piece for $5, but I'm just trying to give you the idea that I was doing pretty much any kind of a tattoo that people wanted for the low. And with the fact that I was virtually 100 miles an hour with the tattooing, I mean, that kind of stuff can lead to problems. Sometimes when you're moving too fast, you might end up in a situation you might not have ended up in if you had been taking your time a little bit more. And that's exactly what happened to me, which led to this fight that I had to get in that I won. But there was this prisoner who wanted his back tattooed, and what he wanted was his nickname across the top of his back, like right across his shoulder blade. And what his nickname was Dirty D. And it's pretty easy for me to understand why he got this nickname Dirty D, because this guy tried to do me dirty. Old Dirty D comes up to me and says, hey, look, I want to get Dirty D across my back. How much you going to charge me to do that? I want it drawn up real nice in some fancy cursive words. I want some real sweet gray wash shading around this tattoo. How much you going to charge me to do it? And I told him, I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Dirty D across the shoulder blades, that's easy enough. I'll charge you $20 for this tattoo. I mean, it's going to be kind of big. You're talking big letters, Dirty D across the back, plus this gray wash shading that you want, $20. You can't beat that deal at all. In fact, if you were to try to get this tattoo anywhere else, I can promise you, you're going to pay at least double that. Or if you were going to try to get it in the free world in a shop, God knows what they would charge you for a tattoo like that. But $20, I mean, you can't really pass that deal up, can you? Old Dirty D was cool enough with this, and he said, yeah, sure, go ahead, draw this tattoo up, give me a list of what you want, I'll order it for you. And then I got you on commissary day. You know, little did I know that at that time when he's telling me he got me on commissary day, I didn't really know then that he meant that he was gonna get me. You know, like try to get one over on me. We end up doing this tattoo no problem at this level 1 facility. I mean, it was really easy to do tattoo work. The guards barely ever came into the housing unit, and most of the ones that did come in there, I mean, they really didn't care about anything going on in there. So again, we do the tattoo and it's no problem whatsoever. I do have one little confession to make right now though. Now when I draw up the tattoo, Dirty D, I kind of arched it on the paper, so when we put it on his back, it's going to kind of arch across his back. I end up putting the stencil on his back, I peel the stencil off, I stand back, I look at it, trying to make sure that it's straight. And I must have done this kind of quick, because after I got done tattooing Dirty D across this dude's back, I like stood back and looked at it. It was just slightly, and I mean slightly, just slightly, a little crooked. I mean, Dirty D, it was kind of just like a little But not that much at all. I mean, really, not that much at all. And in fact, because he wanted this gray wash shading around this tattoo, I was actually able to use that shading to kind of like straighten this thing up a little bit. You would not realize that this tattoo was just a little crooked unless you really knew that that tattoo was crooked. Like if I had told you it was crooked and then you looked at it, the chances that you actually noticed the tattoo's crooked, there are those chances, but I feel like in most cases, nobody would ever notice that tattoo was just a little off. And you know, at this point, it really doesn't even matter that the tattoo was crooked, because when commissary day came and it was time for me to get paid that $20, that whopping $20 for that big ass back tattoo I had just done, Dirty D comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, yeah, they messed up my order. All those items that I ordered for you, they magically just didn't give them to me." You're telling me they didn't give you any of the commissary items you were supposed to order for me? I don't know what happened, man. I mean, I put the order in and they gave me all of my other commissary, but they didn't give me none of that commissary I was supposed to order for you. And the way that he's telling me about the fact that they didn't give him any of the commissary he was supposed to order for me, I mean, he's basically telling it to me like I should just read between the lines, like he's just not gonna pay me. But me being really young and dumb at this point, I'm kind of green to the fact that people will just try to pull one over on you in prison. You know, I try to work through this problem because, again, money plus prison in a lot of cases can equal problems. So I tell D, I say to him, I said, well, okay, well, how about this? How about you just order it again for me next week? I'll give you the same exact list. You'll order those same exact commissary items and we should have no problems next week. I mean, if they messed up your order this week, that's one thing. But I really don't think they'll do it 2 times. Do you? I can remember this guy was kind of like laughing about this, like, okay, yeah, sure, give me the list again. And I'm trying not to pay so much mind to this. I'm trying to actually give this dude the benefit of the doubt, because in prison, everybody's a good person, right? So the next week rolls around, and again, this time D doesn't have these damn commissary items. And he tells me this time, he says, hey, guess what, man? Those items, they ain't come again. But you've got this big bag of commissary right here. How in the hell did these items not come again? And what he tells me after that is he says, we should probably just go ahead and forget about those commissary items because obviously they're not coming. Now, you know, this is like the first time that I've done a tattoo where I did it before I got paid, and with that, I'm not getting paid. With that, this person is actually just trying to buck on me, basically, meaning they're just not gonna pay me, and they're telling me that in so many words. And as this is taking place, I really don't know what the next move I should make is, because I always knew that a situation like this could arise, but I guess I never really thought through what exactly I should do the moment that happens. Should I just try to hit this guy right now in his face and just go for what I know, which isn't very much about fighting? I mean, I do have a pretty sorry fight record when it comes to fighting while locked up. I'm probably something like 0-5 at this point, but again, I'm just not knowing what to do. So what I end up doing is nothing. Right this second, at least. I just walk off. I'm pissed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. All right, man, whatever. And then I just walk off. I go back to my bunk. I'm sitting on my bunk and I'm just thinking about this. And I'm feeling like almost ashamed or embarrassed at this point. Because as I'm sitting on my bunk, I'm realizing I have to do something about this, because if I don't do something, it's not going to take long before everybody at this little small level 1 facility gets wind of the fact that Dirty D didn't pay me for this tattoo, and other prisoners at this facility are probably going to think they could do the same exact thing. So I'm knowing I have to do something about this. I know I got to do it, and I got to do it soon. The problem with this is, again, I'm like 0-5 when it comes to fighting. And also, damn it, why does Dirty D have to be one of these prisoners that I'm looking at and already knowing in my mind I'm not going to be able to beat this guy? He's bigger than me, he's probably stronger than me, he can probably fight better than me, and he damn sure is a little bit more a lot more intimidating than me. You know, again, when you deal with money while locked up, you can easily find yourself in a situation where you have to do something, and sometimes it'll be things that you really don't want to do. I tell myself that I can't let this fester for too long. I cannot continue to dwell on this, because the longer I dwell on this, the more scared I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna probably end up just not doing anything at all. So I tell myself right there in that moment, I'm like, Joe, we're gonna go fight this dude, and we're gonna go do it right now. We ain't got no choice. I go ahead and put my shoes on, I'm tying my shoes up. Now, mind you, all of this is happening on that second commissary day. So all of this is transpiring in the matter of like 15 minutes. Again, I tell you, I could not let this fester for too long at all. And during this time, as I'm putting my shoes on and getting ready to go do what I know I have to do, but what I don't want to do, this dude, Dirty D, is over in his bunk area right now. His lockers are open, and he's putting his commissary items away in his locker. I get my shoes on and I walk right over to D's bunk area while he's sitting back there putting that commissary away. And when I get over there, it's like I'm not even myself, because most of me does not want to be going to do what I'm going to do. So it's almost like I'm just a passenger in my own body walking over here to do this with God knows what kind of result is going to come from it. But I go over to D's bunk area and I walk right up in his cut, right up on him while he's sitting in his chair putting his items away. And all I say to him when he looks up at me is, "So you're just not gonna pay me?" I hit this dude with everything I have before he ever gets a chance to utter one single word. When I hit this guy, I don't even know where this hit came from. Maybe this was like strength that I had in me that I never even knew I had. Maybe this was pent up from all of those losses that I had taken, where I just knew at this moment in time I had to do this. When I connected, I mean, that basically took all the fight out of D right there. In fact, this guy put up virtually no fight whatsoever, making me feel like this first hit that connected really did some damage, and I did not let up there. I mean, I gave this dude everything that I had. When it was finally over and somebody was grabbing me, pulling me off of him, "All right, Joe, all right, he's had enough." The entire time I'm saying, "I bet you never try to not pay me again. I bet you never try that shit again." And though even after that fight, I still didn't ever get paid, there's this unwritten rule while in prison: you either pay or you pay in another type of a way. And this guy D definitely paid in a different type of a way. And there's things about this that I guess I'll just never understand. I mean, here's this guy who bucks on me after owing me $20 and just must think that I'm just not gonna do anything at all about this. Because he was definitely caught off guard when I walked right up into his bunk area and pretty much laid him out with that first hit. Bong! So I guess all parties involved in this learned a lesson with this. 1, don't ever underestimate anybody while in prison. 2, if you do somebody wrong, you better be on your guard after that. And 3, the lesson that I learned in this was, well, shit, not everyone who appears to be this big bad motherfucker in prison really is at all. But like I said at the beginning, this glory that I had after winning this fight, this victory, this victorious feeling that I had, I thought I was ready for the UFC after this fight. All of this that I was feeling, this cockiness, this level 1 super tough guy, super thug life. You can't do nothing to me. You see what I just did to Dirty D? I'll do that to you too. All of this super extra shit that I was feeling at this time, yeah, it pretty much went right out the window like the following month. Because for about a month, I was able to carry around this air of confidence, this air of macho tough guyness shit that I had with me. But the following month, I ended up getting in a fight with another guy by the name of Shelton because of my super arrogant, feeling macho tough demeanor that I was carrying about with me, thinking that at any time somebody was looking at me wrong or disrespecting me. Hey, yo, what did you just say to me, Shelton? Where am I? Am I in prison? Yeah, me and this other guy by the name of Shelton ended up getting into a fight. It's not even a fight at all. This guy hit me one time and knocked me out, put me to sleep. All because I was thinking I was this tough guy that I really wasn't. And I was running my mouth. Hey, Sheldon, what did you just... I won my first fight ever in prison, and about a month later, I got knocked out cold with one hit. And I think the combination of those two things right there kind of helped to balance me out. And though that wouldn't be the last fight that I would get in by a long shot while locked up, I certainly learned a lot from that experience about how to do time. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment and let me know exactly what you thought about tough guy Conor Guerrero, Oh Joe. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take anybody for granted or ever underestimate anybody at all. And make the most of every day. Peace! Let's give a few shout outs from yesterday's video from the comments section. Again, for everyone who helped yesterday's video get so many damn likes, please help this video do the same thing, and we'll continue to do this. Siveron asked, when are we gonna see a video with your girlfriend? I don't know, that's a good question. I mean, we did a vlog not too long ago where we went to the zoo, and I am starting to get more active on Snapchat. She's always with me, so if you guys want to see her, she's right there with me. Snapchat AfterPrisonShow. But who knows, maybe in the future, you know, she'll make a couple of guest appearances. Sasha Sanchez says, like. Shout out to you, Sasha, that really means a lot. Old Dirty Dan says, man, you're looking swole, white boy. Am I? God damn. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Old Dirty Dan. Leonard Burkanic. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Prison stories are lit. You're really good at telling stories. Thank you. I enjoy telling these stories, and I hope we can continue to do this forever. Gabby Brocklebank says, Joe looking as though he's been working out. Well, I have been. I'm also trying to quit smoking, and I've definitely cut back a lot in that regard. So, Gabby, thank you very much for noticing the changes I'm trying to make. Anthony Friedman Jr. says, stories are fucking hilarious, but yet I've done time myself, and it is crazy. Well, shout out to you, Anthony, for being home, and let's just try to stay out here in the free world. God knows when you serve time, you definitely are going to come home with some stories to tell. But shout out to being able to do that out here in the free world. TK Austin says, I want a shout out, but I probably won't get it. Well, hey, TK, shout out to you, brother. Thanks for rocking with the After Prison Show, and to everyone else as well. We will continue to do these shout outs. We'll bring these back. Come rock with After Prison Show on Snapchat. After Prison Show, I can't emphasize that enough. And please, if you rock with and support After Prison Show and you've made it this far, go ahead and smash that like button. And let's try to show YouTube that people really like these prison stories. Until next time, peace!